What's the deal? What is the deal? What's up? What's up? What's up? Go ahead and hit that like button when y'all come up in here now. Go ahead and hit that like button now. Yo, what's good? What's good with you? What's good with you? Sorry I'm late. I know I posted I was supposed to be here an hour ago. Me and Ruben, shout out to that boy Ruben. We were supposed to be on the channel, so I ended up having to go on his because we couldn't get him connected on mine. So we ended up going live on his. And that's why I've been for the last like 45 minutes. So apologize if y'all was on the original live stream, the original notification I had going out there 8 o'clock when they would jump in. Well, like I said, because me and Ruben was supposed to be on my channel, but we ended up going on his and doing it live on his channel because we couldn't get them connected to go on my channel. And then we tried to get our channels to connect and it wouldn't work. So we just went ahead, hey, go live on his because like we've been talking about doing this. Me and him been talking about doing this video for a while now, and we definitely had like both of our schedules able to meet up today. Was able to get it done today, and so we went ahead and went live on his. But because I told y'all I was going live, and like I said, once I tell y'all I'm going live, unless I absolutely can't do it, I'm going to go live. So make sure hitting that like button when y'all come through. If y'all was on Ruben's channel, make shout out to y'all for seeing me on Ruben's channel. And y'all gonna see some more of me. Say, hey, y'all gonna see some more. So make sure you hit that like button when y'all come up in here. Make sure you hit that like button now. Let's talk about the channel. You just watch the show. Hey, appreciate you watching the show with Ruben. And hey, now come back with your boy and watching the one with your boy. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button too, though. Make sure you hit that like button. Let some of y'all get up in here real quick. I know it's probably late. People probably sleep or probably ready to hit the club or whatever it is they're trying to do. So yeah, man, make sure that like button though. Y'all come up in here. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Already. Already. So minicamp has came and went. So now I think now the guys they've taken a break for about another month, another 4 or 5 weeks before actual training camp. I think training camp will be like at the end of July. Cool. Probably I think normally training camp is like 2 weeks before the preseason. So the preseason is like because it's not like it's this year we don't have the Hall of Fame game, so it's not like how last year we played like the first week of September. I mean first week of August. So you still got what? You still got what about 2 weeks left of this month? You still got the next 2 weeks left of June, and then so probably what like 3 weeks of July. So about 5 weeks. So about 5 weeks. So the Texans probably got a little 5 week break to get ready, whatever. So like 5 weeks able to get ready. So again, mini camp, and it was only a 2 day mini camp because like teams are allowed to do up to three, but the Texans are one of the few teams that only do 2 days of mini camp. You know, we just had and again, remember, I said this after the first week of OTAs. It felt like the Texans were the last team to go for OTAs. I feel like the Texans were like the last team to go for OTAs. So we only did 2 days of mini camp, and the elephant in the room, the biggest elephant in the room. Again, we didn't get a chance to talk about it on Ruben's live, but CJ got the throw. We finally got to see CJ throw because we had the whole him not practicing, him not throwing the football during OTAs, and then 2 days of minicamp. CJ was out there throwing the football, not just throwing the football, was throwing dimes, was throwing perfect passes, especially that pass he threw to Higgins when Higgins caught that one hand catch on Maury, and the reports said that's not even CJ's best throw of the day. But in that throw in itself was a beautiful throw. We talked about on Ruben's channel that catch right there that's going to win you some games. That looks very scary for potential defenses. That looks very scary, but CJ got the throw. So what was it all the made to do about the whole CJ not throwing the football? muscle tightness? Were we overly concerned? Were we a little bit too hyperbolic and too fearful, too much of into a panic, too much being worry warts? Were we that, or was it something actually to really take heed to and something to actually really be concerned about? Me personally, I think it's in a little bit. I think you're in the middle, and we're talking about a little bit of both. This is the reason why. And one thing, because I don't care about it being mandatory, voluntary. That doesn't move me. Just like last week was voluntary, and this week is mandatory. We're still 5 weeks away from training camp, which in essence means what you're 7 to 8 weeks away from a preseason game, and you're what, 3 months away from a regular season game, June, July. Yeah, you're 3.5 months until you have to play opening day against the Rams, the season opener, the season opener. So you're 3 months away from that. You're 5 weeks away from actual training camp, and you're like 3.5 weeks or 3.5 months, or rather, away from actual real NFL games, with 7 weeks, about a month and a half away from actual preseason game. So my point is, there's a lot of time in between now and against the Rams for CJ to throw the football. I wasn't concerned on that front. However, it is something, I feel like it is something to monitor, because other quarterbacks are throwing. Patrick Mahomes is throwing. Joe Burrow is throwing. Josh Allen is throwing. Lamar Jackson not there. So I mean, Lamar Jackson won the OTAs. Jalen Hurts is throwing. Like, other quarterbacks are out. Other quarterbacks that are out there are throwing the football. And also, CJ threw last year at OTAs. CJ threw a rookie mini camp, and CJ threw a rookie OTAs. So him throwing previously shows me that if there was nothing wrong with him, he would be throwing the football. So the fact that he did not throw the football means it's something. It could be very minor. I'm not saying it's major. I'm not saying it's a concern for the season. I'm not saying none of that. I'm not being that hyperbolic. I'm not saying none of that. But what I am saying is, it is something. Okay, we might have to, muscle tightness. It might have to watch that. It might have to, that might, make, what I'm saying, might need to look at that. Might need to look at that. So again, I'm not saying there was anything to be ultrally concerned about, but it wasn't just, oh, nothing. It's nothing to see here, because if he would not have muscle tightness, he would have been throwing. And I've been saying that D'Amico made it worse. Like, sometimes, the cover up is worse than the crime. Like them coming out there the first day saying that they saying, oh, that's nothing wrong, and everybody got a schedule made for their schedule. It's personal to their own schedule. Whatever stuff that Nick Cayley was saying, talking like he a senator. And then all that being nothing to do. And then D'Amico comes out there a week later, after CJ doesn't throw for a week, goes out there and then tells the media, well, yeah, CJ is dealing with this, that, and the third. And then when he's asked a question about, did CJ have surgery? There's no question on CJ. It's like you jump defensive. Like, bro, why you jump defensive? So when you do that, you start to put the fans and people in the media and people around covering the team into somewhat of a panic, like, whoa, he ain't throwing. And then we asked you, did he have surgery? You jump into a panic. You jump all defensive. So you kind of open the door. For some people to worry. Right, wrong. But you still did. You open up the door for people to panic. So when you do stuff like that, you can't be upset that people feel a type of way. And then to come out all cavaliers, oh, CJ threw, they like, come on, bro. Like, come on, D'Amico. Chill out, bro. Like, chill out, bro. We wanted to know. We were left in the dark. We didn't know what was going on, and all we know is our quarterback wasn't throwing. And you telling us it's muscle tightness. You're hiding and doing these different type of things, and then when we ask you questions, either you flat out lie or you try to beat around the bush. And there's no competitive edge to get. Because I know some people are like, well, no, you're not gonna tell somebody they hurt. And again, if he would have had surgery, and you say he didn't have surgery, if he would have had surgery and you bounced around the question, that's understandable. But the fact that he didn't have surgery, and then we asked you a direct question, did he have surgery? And you say, I'm not talking about CJ anymore. And he didn't have surgery. It's kind of like, bro, why'd you do that? You could have just simply said, no, he didn't have surgery. Like you could have just simply said it. So I do feel like D'Amico himself made it worse and gave more legs to the issue that was ultimately potentially probably a non-issue. But it's still, I think, like I said, it is something to monitor. It is still something to monitor because his his shoulder should not be sore. He shouldn't have tightness. I know some people say we know what he was working real hard in the off season and throwing the football real hard. So he wasn't throwing the football last year. So you tell me he didn't work last off season. You tell me he didn't work the previous offseason? Because if he worked last offseason, that would mean that he worked last offseason, but he threw last year OTAs. But now this year you tell me he worked this offseason and he didn't throw OTAs because he worked so hard. So that leads you to say he didn't work hard last year. So, and if that's the case, that's a problem in itself. If that's the route you want to go, oh no, he just worked really, really hard this offseason. He just worked really hard this season. So you're saying that he didn't work really hard off season. So he didn't work really hard last off season. Back to the notion that right is a problem in itself. That's a whole nother different problem. That's a whole nother different type of problem. So either way you slice it, or yeah, he's worked the same. He worked the same amount, but if he worked the same amount as he worked last year, why is this year his muscles tightened last year? He's not. Again, it's something to monitor. It could ultimately be nothing about how about do nothing, but at the same time, it still might be something to at the very least monitor. I'm glad he was out there throwing the football. And he was throwing the football real well. Again, CJ had a phenomenal rookie year on a partly dislocated shoulder. Like people didn't even know that running rookie of the year and throwing for 4,000 yards and throwing for 400 yards and the touchdown, like 4 touchdowns and all the different types of stuff he was doing in his rookie year, winning the playoff game, going out there completely cooking the Cleveland Browns in the wild card game. That they basically was throwing the white flag. He did all that on a partly dislocated shoulder. We've seen guys tough out tightness. We've seen guys tough out these type of situations. So I'm not surprised that he toughed it out. And again, I always thought that if a game had to be played, that he was going to be able to play anyway. That he would have toughed it out. Remember, after his first game against the Baltimore Ravens, his rookie year, he came into the facility, the home opener against Indianapolis. He was at the facility at 5:00 in the morning, trying to get going and get ready so he can gut it out and play that game against the Indianapolis Colts, week 2 of his rookie year. So we know that the kids are working. We know that hey, he's tough. He's a warrior. He's going to cut it out. So again, that doesn't surprise me at all either. So I feel like if it was a game coming up, he would have definitely been able to gut it out. He was going to be able to play. So again, that's why I was never to that concern of the season's over and what we're going to do and all this. I was never on that side. I was never in that camp. I was never on that side. But I also, in the same token, wasn't on the side like, nah, man, ain't nothing. It's the off season. It's the off season. He's just taking a break. He's just chilling. He's just chilling. It's nothing. I wasn't that camp either. I was like, I mean, ultimately, because we're so far out from a game that, like, I'm not concerned on that standpoint. However, it is still something to at least monitor. It's still something that we need to watch and monitor. And again, it could be throughout the season, it goes away and we don't have to talk about it anymore. But it is still something that we need to monitor. But man, like I say, shout out to everybody coming through here. Make sure hitting that like button when y'all come up in here. I see more people than jumped up in here, but the likes ain't going up. Make sure you hitting that like button. Speaking of hitting the like button, speaking of liking things, the Texans made a move on Monday. It was Monday? Yeah, it was officially on Monday. What's the deal, bro? The Texans made a move officially on Monday by acquiring and signing free agent running back, all pro, former Pro Bowler, Nick Chubb to this roster. And we know Nick Chubb, at the peak of his powers, at the top of his game, was at the very least a top three running back. It was between him, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. It was between those three of who was the best running back. For the most part, people was looking at Derrick Henry, especially after 2020. But hey, we were talking about some of the best running backs in the game. Oh, and you also throw in Saquon as well, but I think people had Nick Chubb over Saquon, honestly. I really feel like that those three were the people who, like, was top billing in fantasy football and stuff like that, especially how running backs go in fantasy football. They the number one, number two, number three pick. And definitely, I feel like that Nick Chubb was at the peak of his powers, was looked up as that type of running back. So definitely one of those guys. But hey, the last 2 years has suffered injuries. He had the knee injury 2 years ago, and then last year ended up having a broken foot. I'm not really too much concerned about the broken foot. I know it's a running back, and hey, he's running the football. You're not concerned about his foot, like he literally runs the football, and you're not concerned about his foot. No, because it was like a broken foot. Those things fix clean. The knee injury is the one that's a concern. I am happy that it is a 2 years removed now, and he came back early last year. I am happy that it's 2 years removed from the original injury. So I think that this is going to be the best gauge of Nick Chubb, a guy that before his knee injury he averaged 5 yards per carry, like he averaged five. He never had a season that he had below 5 yards per carry until he got that knee injury. So I think that I definitely think that this is a good signing, especially being the backup running back. I said this last year about Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon is a wonderful running back, and I know I got into it a lot of times with people on Twitter and things like that, in different type of Twitter spaces, because I kept on saying ad nauseum last year that the Texans did not have a good running game. Like, how you gonna say that when Joe Mixon rushed for 100 yards every week, he rushing for 4 touchdowns, and he rushed for 1,000 yards? The Texans offense under Bobby Slogan and the offensive line, Bobby couldn't coach the run game well, couldn't scheme the run game well, couldn't design the run game well. The offensive line couldn't block the run game well. And outside of Joe Mixon, they couldn't run it well. So ultimately, the Texans as a team offensively did not have a good running game. Joe Mixon was good. The Texans running game, the running attack itself was not good. Because outside Joe Mixon, they couldn't run it well, and they couldn't call it well, scheme it well, block it well. They couldn't do nothing well, and they couldn't run it well outside of Joe Mixon. So therefore, the Texans themselves did not have a good running game. And all those 1,000 yards and 12, 13 touchdowns that Joe Mixon got was 100% completely on Joe Mixon. That was all on the feet and the legs of Joe Mixon. That's who it was on. And I said and this is one reason why I'm glad we drafted Willie Marks, that I thought the Texans need to target a running back in the draft. I'm not saying they should draft a running back in the first round, second round, third round, but third round is why I said the Texans need to start looking at a running back. But I also thought the receiver was more important as well. But I thought the Texans need to get another running back in the building, because you can't expect Joe Mixon to keep that up. You can't expect, especially at his age. I think Joe Mixon is going to be 28 this year, 28 or 29 this year. No, I think Joe Mixon turns 29, I think in December, and I think Nick Chubb turns 30 or he turns 29. Because because actually Nick Chubb is technically older than Joe Mixon by a couple months, if I'm not mistaken. But you don't want to depend that much on Joe Mixon because you're not going to continuously get those type of results from the type of running back, especially the way that we're calling it and scheming the game. So I'm also glad we drafted Woody Marks. But now you bring in somebody else, and again, like I was telling Ruben earlier today, the best case scenario is that he spells Joe Mixon, and we have a dual running attack, and there was all the pressures not just on Joe Mixon, and hopefully with Nick Caley and Popovich scheming up this offensive line and the mentality. I want to talk about that too, about the mentality of this offensive line that has gotten better. That it already takes off some of the pressure off of Joe Mixon anyway. And not only does that take off some of the pressure off of Joe Mixon, now you add in Nick Chubb, and that helps take off some of the pressure off of Joe Mixon as well. And in essence, a legitimate running game helps protect your quarterback. A running game helps protect your quarterback just as much as a legitimate offensive line. And about the offensive line, I'm liking what I'm hearing about out of Tyus Howard. Tyus Howard seems like he's enthused and is happy to play guard. When we know this guy is always on Twitter, has his Twitter back, left a right tackle only, all different type of stuff. And I think that's more so because obviously we know the tackles get paid more than guards and centers. Like tackles are the highest paid offensive lineman. The highest paid offensive lineman is more than likely going to be the left tackle because that's protecting the quarterback. Because most quarterbacks in the NFL are right-handed. Now, again, if a quarterback is left-handed, that means right tackle it will be the most valuable tackle on that team. But majority of NFL quarterbacks are right-handed. So it seems that most left tackles are pretty much the highest paid offensive lineman on their team and the highest paid offensive lineman in the NFL. And like I was telling Ruben earlier, like Larry Tunsil cracked the code. He realized that hey, if I'm elite at pass blocking, but average to below average at run blocking, I'm gonna get paid. It ain't gonna be vice versa. If I'm elite at run blocking and average at pass block, I'm not gonna get paid. Or if I'm like average at both or okay and good at both, but I'm not elite at pass blocking, it's not gonna be the same. He figured that out. And that him figuring that out and that all kind of like just trickled down to the other four offensive linemen, that type of mentality. So that's the reason why they had to get rid of Larry Tunsil because it wasn't Larry Tunsil's skills. It wasn't Larry Tunsil's talent. We know that Larry Tunsil pass block is one of the best offensive linemen in the league, but mentality wise, his mentality is what kind of put the offensive line at a deficit. Now that you remove that, it's addition by subtraction. You remove that, now you have that whole hard nose, put your head down, work, lunch pail type, hogs, big ugly type offensive line mentality. And that's what we need when we have a pure pocket quarterback in CJ Stroud. We have a pure pocket quarterback in CJ Stroud. So that's what we need. We need an offensive lineman that's going to put their head down, put their hands in the dirt, and go out there no nonsense and just work, get muddy, get dirty. They ain't worried about being cute. They ain't worried about being clean. They ain't worried about being shiny and all this other type of stuff. They're not worried about being glossy and you know what I'm saying. They're not worried about getting the Gucci bags and the brand new purse and going overseas and getting the new Louis belts and doing, you know what I'm saying. They had Fashion Week and they at the MetLife Gala. They not worried about that. They not worried about that. They worried about protecting their quarterback. They worry about pushing tires up and down on a farm somewhere. They worried about that. That's what they worry about. They don't care that they out here getting real dirty and nasty and muddy. What happened to the offensive lineman that was going out there eating grass and dirt and grimy? The big uglies, the hogs back in Washington old days in the 90s. That's what type of offensive lineman we need for a pocket passing quarterback, for a legitimate run game. And it seems like that's the type of mentality that Nick Caley and Popovich has, and that's how you could see just in the comments and the things that Tyus Howard spoke about today, and the fact of that he's taking on the challenge of being a guard. Now, it also helps. He's already been paid as a tackle. It does help. It does help. He's already been paid as a tackle. He already got his bag as a tackle. And also, like I was telling Ruben earlier, that Nick Casario has showed his hand with, in the last 12 months, less than, what he's done with both Derek Stingley and Nico Collins, and then the opposite side, Larry Tunsil, Kenyon Green. I don't care how much I pay you, Larry Tunsil. I don't care why I drafted you, Kenyon Green, first round draft pick. If you don't have the mentality and the work ethic and do the things that we need you to do on this team, we will get rid of you. We will trade you. And everybody's not as fortunate to go to a defending Super Bowl champion, the Philadelphia Eagles. And everybody's not so fortunate to go to a up and rising team in the Washington Commanders. But on the flip side, if you do what I tell you to, if you do what you're supposed to do and you work hard, it's cool if you have injuries. Because if you do what we expect you to do, we'll make you the highest paid cornerback in the NFL by $5 million. We'll let you reset the market by $5 million. All pro staying. We will pay you a year early. Now end up being a steal for us and Nico Collins. We will pay you, Jalen Petrie, even though technically we really don't have a real role for you. We really don't know really where you fit in, but we'll pay you because we know that these guys, because when these guys get paid, when Nico got paid, Nico was out there running routes. When Stingley got paid, Stingley was at the gym. When I think when Petrie got paid, I think Petrie was doing the charity event when he got paid. But Laramie had a second when he got paid. Man, Laramie was in the section. You know what I'm saying? Laramie, let me go see what the new Louis fit gonna be. Let me see what the new Gucci fit gonna be. Let me see what the new Dior gonna be. Let me see what they dropping. Oh, let me fly to Spain real quick. Let me go to Spain real quick. Let me get some of this. Let me get some of this new. They ain't got this in America. They ain't got this type of. They ain't got this in America. Let me get this. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna stun on them. Wait till I get back to Houston. I'm gonna be stunting on them when I get back to Houston. Boy, I can't wait to do fashion week. I can't wait to do the fit check before the game. I'm gonna be out there. They can't nobody dress like me, boy. I can't nobody do it like me. Can't nobody do it like your boy. That's the type of mindset Larry Tunsil was on. But the other guys, they putting their head down. They working. They grinding. We talking about Stingley. Last year was his first fully healthy season since his freshman year at LSU back in 2019. And Nico Collins has yet to have a fully healthy season in the NFL. And we don't ever talk about it, but he also didn't play his last year at Michigan due to COVID. He sat out. So he hasn't played a full-fledged season since 2019, 2018 when he was at Michigan. So both of these guys haven't played a full season since early on in their college years, outside Stingley having last year. And we're talking about guys that got paid. One guy completely broke the bank and reset the market by $5 million. Other guys got paid. And then, again, Petrie, who was coming off a season-ending injury this year, ended up getting paid. So, Nick Casario showed you that. So, again, hey, Tyus Howard, you got paid, so you can't fall in that Larry Tunsil category. If they can ship off Larry Tunsil, you don't think they can ship you off, Titus? Man, you better get your head right. You better get your head right. You better anchor down, get to work, do what you're supposed to do. And if they ask you to play guard, they ask you to play center, which I hope they never do. But if they ask you to play tackle, they ask you to play guard, man, you go out there and you do it, and you play to the best of your ability. And I think that getting Larry out there, I think is a wake-up call for everybody else. It sent a message throughout the rest of the locker room that, hey, we not playing. We not playing. We don't care that you Larry Tunsil. We not playing. We will ship you off. We will send you on your way with no qualms about it. We will send you on your way. No qualms about it. We will send you on your way. We don't care how you feel it. We will send you on your way. Square business. We will send you on your way. We don't care how you feel it. We don't care. We will send you on your way. Now, again, he looked up It was sent to a team that is a team that's an uptick. It was just an NC championship game, basically similar to the situation with CJ. They also went out there and got a receiver in the second year because I think they got a Debo. So very trending in the same direction. Obviously, rookie of the year again. They made the NC championship game. We only made the divisional round, but trending in the same direction. So hey, everybody's not that lucky. Like I was telling Ruben, hey, you might get sent to Carolina. You might get sent to the Browns. You might get sent to the Jags. You might get sent to the Jets. You might get you might get sent to New Orleans. You can get sent to any of the other teams, any of the other bad NFL teams, and you're just stuck on a bad football team. Do you really want to take that risk? This ain't basketball. This ain't the NBA where you can kind of dictate where you want to go. You ain't got no trade clause. You ain't default. You ain't got no trade clause. So you can't dictate where you want to go. You can get sent up out of here and with the quickness and be on any team across the NFL. Do you really want to take that risk? Is that really a risk that you're willing to take? I don't believe most people will. I don't believe that that's a risk that people want to take. So you better get your mind right. Better get your mind right. So I like to see the mentality shift that we have. I like to see that it seems like there definitely is a shift in the mentality. It definitely seems like that there's a shift around the team, there's a shift around the offensive line, and it feels like that their mentality is different. And I think that in itself is the biggest payoff off of the Larry Tunsil trade because it wasn't talent. It was never based off of talent. It was never based off of skills. It was always based off of mentality. It was because part of that mentality and that work ethic is the reason why he always getting false starts because he's not disciplined. I know he's trying to get a jump off. He's trying to get a beat on the defensive line. So he's trying to get a head start. He's trying to get a head start, but he's not disciplined. That's the reason why he constantly getting those false starts. Also, a guy who's not at OTAs. He's never at OTAs. Like he's never at OTAs. Because why does he need to be at OTA? He's a top offensive lineman, top paid offensive lineman. Why do he need to go to OTAs? They voluntary. They're not mandatory. I ain't gotta be there. And I'm already paid. And I'm one of the best blockers, if not the best pass blocker in the field. What y'all gonna do? Y'all can't find me. Y'all not gonna bench me because I'm better than every offensive lineman y'all got. So like he really had all the control until he got traded. If I'm not mistaken, I don't even think he was at Washington OTAs. I don't think which you would think that a guy that's been traded twice in his career. Now the Dolphins trading us was a little bit different because, like I said, like he even said himself, he would have traded himself all the draft capital that Bill O'Brien gave up Miami to get him. So that's a little bit different. But now being traded again, you would think, hey, well, let me approach this a little bit different, especially a team that's coming off an NFC Championship game. Let me go about this a little bit different. So the fact that he didn't, he's same old, again gives even more credence to why the Texans needed to move on from him. Why? Chubb might be washed. Um, Chubb might be watched. I'm not saying that. Like that's why. Like I wasn't like when it was the report was coming down Sunday that he's going to sign with the Texans if he passes the physical, and then like he in the sign Texans, and somebody had like asked me like right after that, like right after that, like somebody had asked me, it was like, hey, we got Nick Chubb. What you think? And I'm like, I I feel the same way about the team I felt like 30 minutes ago, like before before the signing, or to be more accurate, how I felt like 2 days ago before this was even a news feed. Like I had no like different type of excitement or what I just. I mean, it was a low risk. We're talking about somebody getting paid $2.5 million. You got people on this team that is not even going to make it past mini camp. I mean, make it past training camp. That make more than 2.5. So you're paying him virtually nothing on NFL. And I know according to us, to me getting $2.5 million. Period. Like they can give me $2.5 million, and I'm good. Like so, hey, give me $2.5 million. I'm cool. So the Silver say the $2.5 million for me ain't nothing to sneeze at. I don't know about y'all, but 2.5 for me ain't nothing to sneeze at. However, I understand on the NFL side of the coin that that's virtually nothing. What's the deal? The 2.5 for the NFL people is virtually nothing. For the most part. So that's a little bit that's a little bit different. That's a little bit different. But so like I said, virtually they paying him nothing. And so again, it's not like you giving them a lot of money. I know some people have brought up like the Amon Green situation. One, you were paying Amon Green like $10 to $12 million a year. I forgot exactly how much it was, and you also was paying him to be your feature back. Like you brought Amon Green was brought in as the Texans big free agent, and he got his job taken twice by two different running backs. First year, he got his job taken by Ron Dame in 2006, and then Ron Dame ended up leaving and okay, Amon Green is going to be the guy in 2007. And then Steve Slayton, as a rookie, outshined him and took his job in the middle of the year as well. So you got both Ron Dane and Steve Slayton, both of them in back-to-back seasons take your job, and this is your high-priced free agent. That would be the equivalent of um Baltimore when they signed Derrick Henry last year, and Derrick Henry didn't have the season he had last year, and they had another running back on their roster go out there and rush for more yards than Derrick Henry, and then this year some third string rookie come out there and takes the job away from Derrick Henry. That's more so a Mon Green, and that's more so of a Mon Green situation, not this Nick Chubb situation. I don't know if he's washed because again, I don't know about how he's going to come back off of that knee injury. I hope he can play well, but I don't need him to be the primary running back. I think Joe Mixon still is going to be, even though he's in the walking boot. I think they say he's off the boot now, but I know he's dealing with something. I think he had surgery on his ankle. Remember the hip drop situation? The guy didn't get flagged last year because they don't flag it. I think people get fined, but I don't even think that dude got fined from Chicago. But I think that like he got that scoped and cleaned, and he was in a boot. And again, that's why like ultimately when I was brought back by CJ, ultimately like it's probably not to do about nothing. However, if there was nothing going on, he would be throwing the football. So if there was nothing if there was nothing going on with him, there was no issue at all, he would be throwing the football. So therefore, at the very least, it is something to monitor. But ultimately, like Joe Mixon, when we get to training camp, we'll see if he's cleared, he's able to run, able to cut and do stuff like that because of the situation he had with his ankle, getting that cleaned up. So I feel like um, I think Joe Mixon might have a similar season he had last year. Just maybe the carry volume is lower. Maybe we have more yards per carry, but the amount of carries is lower, and Chubb takes on some of that brunt, and he's able to uh, um, spell Joe Mixon, able to get Joe Mixon off the field. That Joe Mixon now is constantly just on the field, beating and batting and going on. Like I think that he's able to come off the field, take a breather, get some Gatorade, stuff like that, and we able to still run the football effectively well with Chubb. Man, yeah, that's what I'm actually got. I did want to talk about that too, like about Higgins, because man, that Higgins. I know what I said last month after the draft. um, that No was my favorite draft pick. And we've yet to see Noah on the field. I know Noah's dealing with something. I'm not too much concerned about that either. I know what I said. I know I said that Higgins was my favorite draft pick of the draft. I know I said that. I understand. I know I said that. However, 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 man. That catch by Higgins on Mari. Higgins gonna be a problem, dog. Like Square Let me talk to you. Let me talk to y'all. Let me talk to y'all real quick. Let me talk to y'all. I don't think y'all understand that Higgins and Nico Collins with CJ Stroud is going to be an absolute problem. Not to mention, you talking about you got Kurt in the slot, and then what Noel can give you too. Ooh. If we can block, if we can block, and Nick Caley know how to call a half decent game. He ain't gotta be elite. If he could call a half decent game, and this offensive line can block, and this offensive line could be mediocre, and CJ could be, instead of being the second most sack quarterback, just be middle of the pack. Boy, it's something serious. Like, I don't think y'all understand, man. This is something serious, bro. I don't really think y'all really truly understand how serious this really can get. Like, this can get really scary, man. Like, this can get really scary. This can get this can get really scary. And like I was telling Ruben earlier, man, to be honest, the only like really secondary for real that's equipped to handle that is our own secondary with Stingley and Kamara. But like I said, Kamara was in good coverage. Kamara was in good position. It wasn't like Kamara got beat. It wasn't like he got caught picking. No, Kamara was in good position. It was a dime by CJ. And Higgins made an incredible one-handed catch. And that's a little snippet of what he able to do. I think he didn't register a drop last year at Iowa State. Uh, One of the best hands, if not the best pure hands in the draft. Man, Higgins gonna be a problem. Like Higgins is gonna be an absolute problem. Higgins gonna be a problem, like especially being paired up with Nico, because that means he's going to be more. He's going to be against the team's second corner, because Nico's going to garner and get all the attention. Nico's going to get the double teams. Nico's going to get the number one corner. Like Nico's going to get all the attention, so they're going to be like, hey, they're going to give the second corner the assignment. They're gonna get the second corner the assignment of Higgins, and I think it's gonna be hard for them to try to double team Nico a lot because of you also have Kurt and then potentially have Noel as well. So I don't see them really like maybe obviously early on because they don't know. But I think as the season goes along, as we get into the teeth of the season, the meat of the season, as we get into the playoffs and the postseason, I don't think that teams are going to constantly, not saying they're never going to do it, because again, especially on key situations, they will. I don't think they'll constantly double Nico, because if you do, that means you're going to be putting you're going to be putting your second best corner on an island with Higgins, and you also have Kurt and potentially Noel if he shows up this season you have those guys out there. You have those guys out there to help dictate and take away that double team. You're going to leave those guys wide open if you do stuff like that. So I don't see a lot of double teams early on, yes, but as the season gets deep into the season, we get into the postseason, I don't really see a lot of guys, a lot of double teaming against Nico Collins. And like I said, we seen that we seen that out of Higgins, that it's going to be dangerous. I feel like it's going to be dangerous. And again, like I said, Kamari, and that's what makes it even so crazy because Kamari was in good position. I'm not worried about Kamari as well. And remember, we seen this movie 2 years ago during training camp with Nico and Stingley. Stingley coming off of his rookie year, so very similar. And Nico was out there on Stingley. And shout out to everybody to be in the Discord. Shout out to my boys out there in the Discord. We had this conversation at nauseum during training camp. We were like, hey, whoa, what's up with Sting? Because everybody, we already know what it is with Sting. We like, whoa, what's up with Sting? Like Nico out here beating him on coverage. Like he out here getting caught on by Nico. Like, hey, is Sting, what's wrong with Sting? And there was nothing wrong with Sting. It was the fact that was just Nico Collins. We're talking about, in my opinion, I think a top 5 receiver in the field. I have Nico 5th. I have Jamar Chase, Jettis is 1, 2. You can flip flop. Those are they both 1 and 2. Like whatever, however you want to say it. Because I'll go back and forth between Jettis and Jamar Chase. You got CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, and then you got Nico Collins. Like, I feel like those are the top 5 receivers. So Stingley, I said Stingley, Jettis, Jamar Chase, Jettis, however you want to do it. Then you have CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, and then number 5 I have is Nico Collins. So yeah, that's just the Nico Collins was out there doing them. Like Nico Collins out there running routes, doing what Nico Collins does. So it's like, hey, no, it's not that what's wrong with Stingley. It's that, hey, Nico might be one of the ones. Now, with Kamari, again, this is minicamp. We still in June. They in a t-shirt and shorts. They not even in shells, let alone full pads. I get that. I understand that absolutely. That's still a rookie out there, though. That's still a rookie out there. Like, that's still a rookie, bro. Like, Jaden Higgins, this is his 4th week in Houston. He doesn't know anything about the NFL. Jaden Higgins don't even know where to get his oil change at in Houston. Higgins don't even know where to get some good food at. He don't even know where to go to take his clothes to get washed and dry cleaned. Like, he don't know nothing yet. He only been here for a week and a half. He don't know. He don't know. He don't know. He don't know. He barely know how to get to the stadium. He gotta get a ride. He don't know. He don't know. But hey, bro, he was out there. Ha ha ha. And there was another one. He went ha ha ha. All hands, no chest. All hands, no arms, no chest. Straight hands, blah, plucking out the air. Stop. Highest point, plugging out the air. One-handed over the DB. Bring it in. Touchdown. What you gonna do? In your face. Touchdown in your face. What you gonna do? That's what he did. He only been out here for a week. He don't know nothing. He's a rookie, bro. He is a rookie. Y'all go. Come on. So maybe, and again, like I say, Maury was there. Maury was locking step. Maury was. Like, was that when Monsup was talking about with Kobe? Like, what you want me to do, bro? Like, I couldn't play no better defense. I couldn't have did nothing better outside of like pass interference. I couldn't do nothing better. What you want me to do? Pass interference? What you want me to do? What you want me to do? I couldn't have did no better. I couldn't have did it no better. Like, bro, what you want me to do? That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. So that's what he was doing, bro. Like that's what he was doing. So I think that Higgins, I say all that to say, I believe that Higgins is going to be a issue and a problem for everybody else, not for us. Oh, I think it's gonna be beautiful for us. It's gonna be beautiful for us. Cinema. Like it's gonna be beautiful for us. It's gonna be a problem and an issue for the other 31 teams in the field in their secondary. Because and then our secondary got a pass rush too. Because Daniil Hunter, who looked like he stepped foot out of a 80s, 90s slasher movie. Like he looked like he been kicking it like he could play the black like he could play the black Michael Myers. Like he looked like he could be like he could play like the black like Jason. Like that's who the Neil Hunter looked like he could play. Like he looked like he could audition right now. And he don't talk. So he probably could. He actually could be Michael Myers. He could. Cause Michael don't talk about Michael don't talk, he don't grunt. Like he could actually be Michael. He could be in the remake. Once he retired, he could be in the remake. But anyway, like he said he put on an extra 5 pounds, and then you also got what you call it on the opposite side. You got Will Anderson, so you got Will and Neal as your booking. Edge rushers coming off the edges, terrorizing the quarterback. And then you got to throw up to Darius Stingley Jr., Kamari Lassiter, Kalen Bullock, and now you brought in C.J. Gardner Johnson. That's that's an embarrassment of riches. That's an embarrassment of riches. That is just sickening, sickening. Like it's an embarrassment of riches. It really is. It's an embarrassment of riches of how deep our defense is, how strong our defense is from top to bottom. How I mean, like from our secondary, from our even in the linebacker room with Aziz. Aziz not good cover him or the we now that's what we lacking is covering from a linebacker standpoint because both Todos and Aziz are not really good at coverage linebackers. Your best coverage linebacker is C. Harris, and we're going to see exactly if C. Harris can be healthy this year. There's another guy that's dealing with a lot of injuries, and I think also the situation with C. Harris kind of piggybacks also the reason why the little uneasiness that we felt about CJ for the ones who were really, really worried is because they did the same thing with C. Harris last year. Oh, he's fine. There's nothing wrong. Nothing to see here. What you doing? It's crazy. No, nothing to see here. And he doesn't play until the Miami game in December. He doesn't play until late December. He only plays 3 weeks. He plays the Miami game, the KC game, and the Ravens game. He doesn't play football again for the rest of the season. He played 3 weeks, and he didn't play until the last 4 weeks of the season, and still didn't finish the season. He wasn't available to the last 4 weeks of the season, and still didn't finish the season. But all off season, we was told it was much to do about nothing. It's not concerned. He working all the different talking points, and it ended up being way more severe than we thought that we were led to believe. And so I can see why people were hesitant, especially when you say one thing one day and then the next day, like the next day or the next week rather, now you want to tell us smaller tidbits of it when you were trying to say nothing at all, which leads me to believe that I feel like that CJ was trying to give it a go because we knew that CJ threw day one during warmups. I think he tried to give it a go and it was still tight. Again, it's probably just like tight, like this more. It was probably some discomfort that he didn't really that he wasn't. I wouldn't say comfortable with throwing with, but he ain't like it. He didn't like it because I think some people took it as like that. Oh, he couldn't pick up a football, like he couldn't throw. Because I know people were like, oh, he's shooting a basketball, like he's shooting the basketball, he's fine. Like I think that like people were acting like his arm was in a cast, like he was in a sling, and he couldn't pick up anything. That no, like no, he still had mobility. He was still throwing the football around. Like I never doubted he could throw a football. Um, Again, just some type of discomfort, some type of tightness and discomfort. Something was discomforting him, and I think that he tried to give it a go, and it was, he ain't like the way he felt. He didn't like the way the ball felt or how the ball was coming, whatever. That first day of mini camp, and I think then I guess as the week progressed, asked how he felt. He wasn't feeling well, I guess, or wasn't feeling like he was comfortable enough with throwing because he felt like maybe it might be the same thing, and then that's the reason why that they eventually week two, the first day, just went ahead and tried to get in front of it. So I think that he was on the table to throw earlier on. It just didn't work out that way. That's just me personally. That's just my little 2 cents on that. Personally, that's why I think that was. But I think it was a huge issue, like a huge issue, like the season's over. Absolutely not. Never thought that. But again, like I said earlier, I do think it's something to watch. But I say all that to say about because I got attention because I'm about C. Harris and the Texans uh basically talking the way they talked last year. C. Harris is your best coverage linebacker, and you do want him to be healthy because you want to see him on the table because we've seen spurts and little sparks of what C. Harris could be, but we definitely need him as a coverage linebacker because like I was telling Ruben, like giving up big plays was the Achilles heel of the defense last year in every game. In all 17 regular season games, and all 17 regular season games and all in both playoff games, you gave up big plays in every single game. Some of it's a safety fault, some of it's the linebacker's fault, some of it is the cornerback. You gave up a big play in every game, no matter who you played, no matter when you was blowing out a team like Dallas on Monday Football. Tarpon had with an 80-yard touchdown. Yeah, blowing out the Chargers in the playoff game. McConkey had an 89-yard touchdown. You let AR, who can't throw a football accurate for anything, he throws well below 50%. He had 4 50+ yard plays. Like Trevor Lawrence had a big play, but Caleb was able to stop at the goal line. Keyshawn Babute had a big play. The game where Josh Allen was 9 of 30, the ninth completion or the ninth completion was a 49-yard touchdown. A 49-yard touchdown. Like so, you gave up a big play in every single game that you was in last year. And again, that some had to do with the linebackers, some had to do with the cornerbacks, some had to do with the safeties. So I do think that they shored it up a little bit or majority by bringing in C.J. Gardner Johnson. And I think another year of Caleb Bullock also does remedy to that as well. But the linebacking and also the slot corner, nickel back star position because Petrie, even though we paid Petrie really not that good in coverage. That's another one that also gave up big plays because again he gave up a huge touchdown to Devontae Adams and they sealed the game against the Jets on Thursday Night Football. So I definitely think that like that's something to monitor, but ultimately that defense, I feel like the defense is going to play well. And like I said about this offense, I think this offense, especially if Higgins keep looking like how he was looking, gonna be a problem. Gonna be an absolute problem. Man, can't be a problem. I can't wait to see. But no, and again, hey, and Kurt, I seen Kurt was making some catches too. So hey, if we can block, and again, it seems like the mentality of the offensive line shifts a little bit differently, so we should be able to block a little bit better. I definitely think that that because I feel like CJ is a prolific passer. I see CJ a guy throwing for like 41, like low mark 41, 100 yards, constantly being in the 44, 45, 47, 4,800 yard range and 30 plus touchdowns. I think he's that level of pocket passer, but you got to be able to protect him. And I think that we're in the right direction, especially with the mentality. Man, appreciate everybody that came through here right now, man. Come in for this late live. I appreciate that. If you ain't hit the like button already, make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna give y'all some time. If you ain't hit the like button already, make sure you hit the like button right now. If you ain't hit the like button already, make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna give y'all some time right now. Make sure you hit the like button. All right, all right, all right. Appreciate Eric. Like I said, appreciate everybody that came through. If you was on the live with me and Ruben, man, shout out, man. Appreciate y'all coming through after watching the live with me and Ruben earlier. Appreciate y'all coming through. Shout out to the boy Ruben. That was a good live. Again, we were supposed to be on this live earlier. Because again, I know I sent the notification. I was gonna do one at 18, and we couldn't get the channels to link up. So I said, hey, he said, hey man, why don't you just do it on my channel real quick? I said, all right, that's cool. So I ended up going on his channel. So that's why we did a live on his channel. So I still, because I told you I was going to do a live, since I was told I was going to do a live, even though it's late, I'm gonna still do a live. So I still came over here and did the live. So I appreciate y'all coming through here and rocking with me. If you haven't go checked out, make sure you do go check out the live with me and Ruben. I think it was a good one. Personally, I think it was a good one. More stuff to come. More content coming out as well. I know some people have been asking me about basketball stuff like that. I just did a magic video the other day. I will have more magic videos drop. So if y'all are here for the basketball side, more basketball videos will come. Like I said, 5 weeks until mandatory training camp. So uh it's probably going to be mostly like for the next couple of weeks, especially the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, whatever. It's probably going to be very basketball centric unless some more news break. Like obviously this week we signed Nick Chubb and we had a mini camp, so definitely want to come out here and do a live. So but I what I'm planning on doing, what I plan on doing, because I've neglected, you know what I'm saying, basketball side because a lot of people like, man, especially being from the basketball side. So my plan is I'm going to make sure to nurture both, you know what I'm saying, both contents, both fan bases. So as far as like actually like drop content weekly, I drop content weekly for both. If it's live streams and pre-recorded videos, or just a whole bunch of pre-recorded videos, or just a whole bunch of live streams, vice versa, mix and match to make sure I get the content for both people on the channel for whoever you watch it for. You watch it for the Texans, or you watch it for the Magic, you watch it for football, you watch it for basketball, whatever. Or you watch it for both. If you're watching both, definitely appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button, but definitely appreciate you. So that's what I plan on doing going forward. So I but definitely, like I said, basketball off season is about to kick off shortly next week. Because actually, I don't even know what the game is. I've been on Ruben's live and I've been doing this live, so I don't even know what's going on in the finals tonight. I know tonight was game 4, so I don't know. I don't know what ultimately is happening. So I gotta make sure I check that out. But like I said, so I'm gonna have videos dropping on both sides, lives and pre-recorded videos and stuff like that, to make sure that everybody gets they content. So man, like I said, appreciate everybody that came through here. Like I said, appreciate y'all. Sorry for being late, and sorry that I didn't get the original live that was gonna be originally planned for y'all. I apologize for that. But like I said, go check out me and Ruben. We did a video on his channel, so y'all go check that out. Like I said, make sure you hit that like button, like, subscribe, comment below, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.